Ish. Because there's a lot of kids there. So
yeah, that's true.
That would skew the numbers.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the kids thing.
Yeah.
Think about those things because it started off because Pam and I, when we were down there before Scott got there, like when we bought it, started with the refillable mugs. Like she said, like, man, we haven't gotten a refillable mug like in 10 years. Probably since we got it with the dining plan or something way back in the day. And I was like, I wonder how many guests actually even know that you can get a refillable mug and how many get them. And
true.
So, you know, so we're trying
especially now because you have to mobile order. Like when you were like just visiting the food court or whatever, you'd see the refillable mug and you'd be like, oh, cool. You know, maybe you'd look into it. But if you're just ordering on the mobile app and you don't realize that there's a refillable mug there, I wouldn't assume that a lot of people would get it.
Well, so actually now I've noticed at the mobile ordering thing, they put the refillable mug usually up at the top. Yeah, they have done that. So I think that is one of the things, but yeah.
You know what my favorite thing is about the mobile order every time I crack up? It's always like the would you also like kind of item they put in there. Because one time I ordered something, it was like an order of fries or something, you know, some side. And it was like, would you like to accompany your meal with like a half-pound burger? I'm like, no, that's not a side. That's like an
that's a whole nother entree.
That's not what I want.
It cracks me up because like it's just so random. It's not always like a dessert or a side. It's like sometimes like it's bigger than what you ordered. Like, no, I don't want to add that on. If I wanted that, that's what I'd have ordered first.
Right? Exactly. That's exactly what I would have ordered first. I would not have ordered that second or as an add-on or side or whatever.
Mobile app, you're aggressive. Back up.
Right?
We back off, my friend.
We see you didn't order an actual meal. Here, we're gonna make you look into ordering an actual meal.
You don't need 3 of those lava cakes from the Tomorrowland Terrace. How about a lobster roll instead?
Right?
It's like judging me.
Tomorrowland Terrace. Mike, did you see that Casey's has a dress? There's a Casey's dress.
Well,
yes, there is.
But I mean, you know, I don't know.
we could get it for you.
Depending on things that may come home with me, we'll see. I did not come home this last trip, but you know, I'm thinking it might end up in the clearance section. So
I don't know. People were really excited about it.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get it for my wife. It'll be hot.
Oh my God.
Here, wear this, dear.
Wear your Casey's dress.
That's funny.
Like corn dogs and cheese. Yeah, because we got to start. But Ricky, we play a game around here when we're at Walt Disney World. We're like, will Ricky buy that dress? And the answer usually is yes, especially when the co-op.
Yeah, when it goes to the co-op, it's if I can get to the co-op, or you know, when it goes to the outlets, if I can get to the outlets, it's mine probably. So yeah, but a lot of times if it goes on sale, I'll get it too. So.
Hey, Michelle's here for the first time live. She's got all the little kids. 3 littles under 5.
That's a lot of littles under 5.
You're here, and I can't imagine. And one 13-year-old is gray hair constantly.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get cracking here. If you got questions, put them in the chat. We need questions, and we'll get cracking. Then after the show, we're going to talk about Pam and Ricky's trips.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. I love the Polynesian rooms.
Yeah, well.
What?
Who doesn't? Are there people out there that don't?
Yes.
Really? I thought it was subtle enough that people were fine. I saw positive reviews.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, you're always going to have haters. So.
Haters going
to There are people who make their living doing hating.
Well, this is true. Yes.
Okay. We're not going to hate. All right. Let's go.
We're not going to hate.
Okay.
Nah.
I'll get my new glasses here soon. I can't wait. And I'll be able to
Mike's getting new glasses. Oh, you're getting new contacts finally?
Yes. Well, they got to test them because they're bifocal astigmatism contacts, which there's like one kind on the market. It's like they got to test them on my eyes and stuff before they order a whole batch. Try and then.
Gotcha.
Mike's old. He needs 5.
I know, and he has an astigmatism.
Dude, I'm 47. I know I look 22, but come on now. I know I'm getting older. I mean, I am going to be in the 2024 Olympics. I've decided, at least in like ping pong or badminton or something.
You know what your sport could be? Trampoline.
Trampoline.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be more exciting.
It would be.
I'm a little scared though, because those dudes go way up in the air. I'd be scared.
They are very hard. And yes, dressage would be
awesome.
Dressage
is the jam.
How awesome is that?
So last night, Pam, we will start. I promise everybody in the chat. Last night, Pam, she's because I've been like freaked out about dressage. Like I found it like on, because I've been watching the Olympics nonstop not on NBC, but on like USA and NBC Sports Network. And they would show the minor events, So I love not the team sports, but like ping pong, badminton, that kind of stuff, water polo. So they have dressage on. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, because what I was watching, it was like the horse was, it was dancing to the beat. Like the horse was all like, I'm like, how do you train a horse? So I'm like, this is an Olympic sport. You got to be kidding me. So then last night, because Pam knows I'm like, I can't stop talking about this for the last week about dressage. And because I keep trying to teach Riley to walk like that horse, like diagonally, and she won't do it. But, so Snoop Dogg last night tweeted about, you got to find his tweet about dressage. He's like, I turn on the Olympics. This is not safe for work, and I'm not going to say what he said, but he's like, and all of a sudden this horse is doing the crip walk.
Yes. It is so impressive. So you could get Riley to do it because she probably wants to make you happier than
I think
these horses do. Yeah. But it's going to take a lot of behavior modification. You're going to need a lot of snacks.
Yeah. Yes. I was going to strap like an American Girl doll to her back, like Italian.
Please do it, and then that will be a TikTok thing.
I love it. Yeah, you got to send that in.
Yeah, sure. For the travel. A lot of work.
Yes.
So, by the way, we're on a good a video here on the Magic for Less Travel TikTok. Please find us if you have not, because there's some good content going up there.
There is.
Good talk over for the Magic for Less.
I know, right? But one of the fan favorites is things that are unnecessarily embarrassing at Walt Disney World.
Oh no.
And those we've had, there's a few of them. We've done a few, and each one of them gets so much engagement because people can agree.
Awesome. Holy cow.
I know, right?
Jennifer says there's a triathlon. I have watched all 3 events of that triathlon. Yesterday I watched cross country, which the horses were going through this, they're way all over this island, like jumping stuff and going through water. The one horse like slipped going into the water, hitting this jump, and like ended up like hanging over. I was like, oh my God, that has to hurt. And then today, I believe it was just regular jumping. Like it was in a arena. But the things they jump over are kind of cute looking. I don't know. Exactly. Wade has who's the athlete? It's the horse. I mean, dude, the guy that won was 62. I mean, he was 62. He'd been in the Olympics since like he like equestrian against like Jesse Owens. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like crazy. Like he was in the Olympics like in the 40s. I mean, come on. No, he wasn't. But I mean, he was 62. Like because I always wanted to be in the Olympics, and so now it's like okay, like curling. You start to you start to lose what you can actually do. But I can't really see very well. So ping pong, that ball goes pretty fast.
Yeah.
Probably not. Badminton, I'll watch the finals for that today. Badminton was awesome. Badminton, dude. I want to get out of badminton, sit in the backyard and knock it around.
My family always used to play that when we were growing up.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Hey, Aaron, it's so nice seeing you at Pop too. I met Aaron there.
So crazy.
So many listeners came up this time, so it was nice.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't have any in the parks, but when we stopped at the Buc-ee's in Warner Robins,
I heard about that. Somebody emailed me about meeting you at Buc-ee's.
Yes, I met them at the Buc-ee's. I'm standing there and I hear Ricky, and I'm like, is that for me or is that for somebody else named Ricky? And then I turn around and it's like listeners. And I was like, oh, that's too funny.
That's so right. I'm into rugby too now because rugby, I don't really understand. That's why you can't pass it forward. It's kind of like running the triple option, like in football, but like stop. But when
it seems like a flea flicker is going to happen at any moment.
Exactly. But then when your player gets tackled, like what happens is like then her own player or his own, I've only watched the women. Like your own player like sits on you and then the ball comes shooting out between their legs. It's so like you get tackled. So like if we're all on a team, I get tackled and then like Ricky would come sit on me and like then I shoot the ball out and Pam picks it up and options it off to another. It's so crazy.
I mean, I'd be happy to sit on you. And
it's the weirdest game ever. Like that's why I love the Olympics. Like that is so weird, but it's pretty awesome.
Oh no!
It's a lot of team handball. Anyway, this is an Olympic show. Let's do it here.
Okay, well then.
That was fun.
I need an Olympic show at some point. We
should do like what events at Walt Disney World be a good Olympic event?
Did you see on the Magic for Less Travel's Facebook thing? If Disney were an event, Which one?
Well, the old Toy Story Fast Pass Dash would have been an event back in the
I said mine was split stay.
Ah, good one.
I'm winning the split stay, and I'm going to silver in having the food at a lounge count as a full meal.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one. Yeah, I used to throw some elbows, man. I was a little bit aggressive in the rope drop dash. That's exactly it for the Toy Story Fast Pass. We need to go grab it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. For real, we're going to answer some questions. Parker Owens, you're up. And so is Michelle and everybody else. I got to scroll back. Oh, man, I just want to talk about the Olympics now. You know what sport I don't like? Those beach volleyball. Boring. It's usually just a bump, a set, and a spike. Yeah. It's team volleyball anyway. Okay, this is me. Because, I mean, I used to play at Jamestown Sports Complex. I think I could have beat some of these teams.
Well, you're tall enough, yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah, probably not.
No, probably not.
Back in my glory days. Okay. Here we go, I promise. Welcome to episode 1942 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. So glad you're here, and we're here. And we have lots of questions here in the live chat and in the inbox, and that's what we're doing today. Because we've been doing this for about the last decade, we answer your listener questions every Wednesday. So we have the crew back together again. Very exciting time. Seems like it's been since, I don't know, like springtime since we've been all together, but probably not that long. But I'm just glad to have everybody back. And joining us today from the mouseforless.com, where you can check out all the newest information on all the Disney destinations, we have Ricky. What's up, Ricky?
Being here for the last week.
Hang on. You something like you weren't there.
Frozen.
Oh, am I here now?
Yep.
You are.
Oh, weird. Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
You go.
It is good to be back after not being here for the last week, but I had a great time celebrating my birthday at Walt Disney World and Universal, and actually it was also Brian and my 15th wedding anniversary, so I kind of took a little break on social and everything and just sort of enjoyed the last 10 days. So, just celebrating. So that part was nice, but I'm glad to be back in the thick of things now. So that's good. That's good.
So real quick, we're going to talk about this on Friday. Something unexpected that happened down either at Universal or Walt Disney World. Kind of tease it. Maybe you got a story for us on Friday, but anything special that kind of still sticks in your mind?
Oh, that is a good question. We definitely had a dining experience that Brian has said is the best dining experience he's had at the Magic Kingdom. So there's that.
Oh, so you're not gonna tell us what it is? It wasn't.
No, I'm gonna just give you the tease.
You know what? I saw your social media. I know what it is, but I'm not gonna say it. But I bet you I know what it is. I'll say it on Friday's show.
Okay, we'll see if you're right.
Okay.
We'll see if you're right.
So don't, because I totally forget stuff like this.
Yeah, you do.
I drive the listeners nuts. I'm Mike in the Midwest. I always get into a topic and I get distracted, and then I go back. I'm like, dude, I didn't even address that topic I said at the top of the show.
I didn't even talk about it.
Every time. And I apologize for that, everybody. All right. Yeah. Also have our other co-host, Pam Forester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. She is back from Walt Disney World. She did the quintuple resort stay, more something like that. So welcome back, Pam. Glad to have you.
Yeah. Yes. I don't even know how many resorts I was at, but I was all over. But it was so much fun. Each time I'm going, I don't know. I feel like I'm just experiencing Walt Disney World differently than I had in the past. And I'm not going to lie, I don't hate it. In fact, I actually kind of like it. So
what you like?
If that's one of the things that one of the positives I can take from everything that has gone on in the past, however long we are now at this point, I'll take it, because it really, our trips have just not stopped being fantastic. So
good.
I'm excited about that.
It's exciting to be out of the house and to be in a place where you can have, fine dining. And here, again, I've said this many times, but I think if you want things to feel more normal, because most of our listeners have been to Walt Disney World before, not everybody, some folks listen and they're getting ready for that very first trip, which I'm always jealous about, because there's nothing like a first time when everything is. That's why I think why I got such a huge kick out of going to Silver Dollar City this summer, was because I didn't know where anything was. I didn't do a lot of research intentionally, because I loved, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was here. I could get these. Everything you ate down there was like a heart attack on a stick. Everything was like fried foods on a stick. It was great. It was like, and I was like, yes, there's another. I can't believe it. But you get that. But the thing is too, is, it is what you make it. And going down right now, I mean, while things are a little bit different, it's also an opportunity to see things in a different way or to try new ways. I mean, how many people would have not used mobile order if it wasn't for the pandemic? I mean, it's kind of reteaching us ways to do old things. And because, I mean, I was on mobile order because I like technology, but I don't think everybody else was. Kind of stinks now.
Yeah.
Not everybody for it. Back in the day.
It's true. It's true, though. It makes you just look at things differently, and maybe you just appreciate things a little more. And I mean, it's probably a combination of all these different things, but our trips have just been fantastic, really and truly. And I'm always so glad every time I get to go back. So.
All right, we'll talk about that on Friday. Lots to talk about right now. We got to take care of the questions. That's why we're here. So Parker Owens in the live chat, thanks for being here, says, what's the best way to get to the Magic Kingdom early for rope drop from Art of Animation and the Polynesian? Drive or Disney transportation? Late August, split stay. Thank you. All right, Pam, you were just actually at the Polynesian. Actually, you were also at Art of Animation. I know you guys always rent a car, but what is the best way? Because it sounds like they're going to have a car because he's asking drive or Disney transportation because the Magic Kingdom's its own little special beast.
For sure, it is. So at the Polynesian, that answer is easy. You're going to walk. You're going to take the walkway and go around to the Grand Floridian, then from the Grand Floridian over to the Magic Kingdom. That is going to be the best way for you to get to the Magic Kingdom prior to it opening. Art of Animation and every other resort, actually, besides the ones right there that you can walk to the Magic Kingdom, it's challenging right now because Disney transportation only starts, let's say, a certain amount of time before the parks are going to open. That also happens to be the time when the bus transportation from your resorts is the busiest. If anyone out there in the interwebs is posting pictures of the bus line being busy, it's going to be because it was the first thing in the morning, right? That's almost always the case. And of course, that's going to be first thing in the morning for a period of time. That's when most of the visitors are going to those parks and things like that. So that's the one thing that I will say makes it a little challenging. But I will also share with you, when we were in that Pop Century Art of Animation area, it was very prevalent that in the morning, Disney is quite aware that that's the busiest time in the morning. And they were sending not just a regular Disney bus, not the super long Disney buses. They were sending full-on coaches to pick up people in addition to the Disney buses. And they were coming very regularly. So I think even if you're staying at Art of Animation, you're going to be better off taking Disney transportation. Just be patient because in the morning, again, that's going to be your longest wait. The reason why I'm going to say that is if you were to drive, first of all, the TTC parking lot, which is the parking lot for the Magic Kingdom, is only going to open so much in advance of the park opening. And after you get to the TTC, you have to walk to either the monorail or the ferry to get you to the Magic Kingdom. So I think you're going to be better off with Disney transportation in that case.
Here's like a philosophical thing I have for bus transportation. If you want to be like, the ultimate rope dropper, because you want to be ahead of the crowd and you want to, kind of maximize that time, which I think is a good idea, but it's kind of a sacrifice on one end or the other. And so say the buses start running at Art of Animation at 7:00 a.m. You know what? You might have to go out there, and if you get to the bus stop at 6:30, while you're sitting there and you're wasting, in air quotes, you're wasting 30 minutes before the buses are even running, you're probably going to be on the very first bus that leaves Art of Animation, which means you're going to be ahead of everybody almost at the Magic Kingdom. And so, that's, you got to kind of play with things. Like, is it wasting time? I mean, you got to get up super early to do that. The buses are running quickly, I think, especially because I stayed at Pop Century for a few nights. And the thing was, it looks worse than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk out there, like, oh my Lord, like that's a long line for the Magic Kingdom bus. But like you said, Pam, they're flooding the buses at park opening. You might have 3 stacked at one time. There's constantly loading. And like you said, there's motor coaches and the stretchy buses. And I mean, we had some long lines. We didn't wait super long. I was pleasantly surprised. So
yeah, I totally agree. The worst part of it was actually hearing the other guests around you.
Right. Well, I mean, it's that, and it's also entertaining if you know what you know. Like it's also hard to bite your tongue.
Yes. It is. But I don't offer unsolicited advice when I'm there. Never, ever.
Nope.
Like, you've been, I've been a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. I act like I'm like, this might be my first.
Exactly.
I'm just like, I don't know.
The only thing I will speak up every once in a while, like if I'm sitting on a bus with a family and like, you can tell they're like, some family, they're all together, grandma, grandpa, the family, and they're just going to walk into a bad spot. Like you've heard them say it. Yeah. You just know, like, that is not the right answer. Like, no, it's going to cost you. Like, I will speak up and just say, I overheard you, and like, we come here pretty often. Like, just try this. Trust me. But I don't like to do that, but I also don't like to see people that are first timers.
I agree. I totally agree.
All right. Josh has a question. How about this one, Ricky? Trying to decide on Animal Kingdom Lodge versus Wilderness Lodge for 2 nights before going to a house with friends for a week. They have 3 kids. They're 7, 5, and 2.
Oh.
Who would you pick?
Well, this is tough because I do love the proximity of Wilderness Lodge to the Magic Kingdom. So if they're going to spend a lot of time at the Magic Kingdom, which I assume with the ages of the kids, they probably are. So I would consider the Wilderness Lodge for that. But, I mean, how can you ignore the animals out your window? I mean, hopefully they would pick a Savannah view room for Animal Kingdom Lodge. So if you're going to do that with the ages of the kids, and I mean, heck, us adults too, let's just be perfectly honest. I mean, how awesome is it to watch a giraffe or a zebra walk past your room? Then I would consider Animal Kingdom Lodge. But it really just depends on where you're planning on being the most during this. If you're planning on staying around the other theme parks or the resort for that time, I would go Animal Kingdom Lodge. But if you're going to do the Magic Kingdom, I would say Wilderness Lodge.
Perfectly said. If you're going to spend time at the resort, Animal Kingdom Lodge, I think, wins by a hair. But if you're going to be going to the Magic Kingdom a lot, I would stay at Wilderness Lodge. They both have great pools.
Yeah,
kids are going to love both. I mean, I think the kids will love that. Pam, I think Ricky nailed it on that.
Yeah, I do. I will say the one thing that is in Wilderness Lodge's favor is that those rooms have just been redone. And I think they did a spectacular job with those rooms as well. It's just really nice to see. They're sort of lighter and airier. And I think that the Wilderness Lodge sort of needs that. I would like to see something like that the next time they redo Animal Kingdom Lodge, because those rooms always feel a little bit dark to me.
I can do that. Yeah.
They do. But I mean, I kind of like that. I don't know. Like, I think it just fits. I like that.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah.
All right, Michelle's got a question here. Thanks for joining us, Michelle. What is the one go-to end-all experience you recommend that will convert a non-Disney person into a true believer? My husband, dare I say, doesn't like, quote, amusement parks, and I need to convert him. Help! Okay, so here's mine. Besides the PB&J shake at 50's prime time, because that doesn't hurt anybody.
There you go.
I'm kidding, but it is pretty. I wish I had one right now. And I think Pam's going to kind of go the same way. For me, it's not even the theme parks; it's the resorts. Pick a good resort and stay at the resort. I mean, like Pam, I think is going to talk about on Friday, the Polynesian. I mean, other than going to the South Seas, like you get a very unique experience there. Maybe an old Key West where you get that, South, Key West kind of feel. Or I think the resorts really sell guests on that it's vacation and it's not just going to a Six Flags or a Cedar Point. Of course, they have the themed entertainment within the theme parks, which is tons of fun. You guys might pick something in there. But I think if you want to avoid the amusement park vibe, I think it's the time spent at the resort and the room, the restaurants at the resort, the pools, stuff like that. So I'd say, kind of find his sweet spot for a resort and nail it. And also maybe like if he's a golfer, stay at Old Key West where he can be right there at Lake Buena Vista Golf Course, or the Polynesian, go over to the Palm and the Magnolia, something like, find a passion that he's got and kind of build on it. So Ricky, what advice would you have?
That was exactly going to be my advice, was find something that he's really, really, really into and kind of match that up to his vacation. So if he likes to relax a little bit more at the, on vacation, like Mike said, stay at a nice resort, enjoy time by the pool, spend a lot of time there. If he, it's not there anymore, but for my husband, one of the things that was huge for him was at the time NASCAR and racing, and they had the Richard Petty driving experience, which we actually did. So, I mean, I tailored that for him to help him kind of fall in love with the theme parks and take things slow too. So don't, go, which I know is something that so many of us Disney fans they fall into that trap for. I mean, myself is included. I'm starting to try and take things a little slower now. But you definitely want to try to do that for a first timer, because you don't want to hit them over the head with just everything. So you definitely want to take things a little slower. I would find some dining that he would very much enjoy. Definitely more table service options. I think at least try to have one table service option every day, and tailor that toward his taste of meal as well. So really kind of try to make the trip, I don't want to say as much about him as you possibly can, but like kind of veer in that direction a little bit, so that way he gets to see what everything is like, and he can hopefully fall in love with it as well, because that's the dream, right? I suckered my husband into falling in love, so I mean, it works out sometimes.
You're on your A game, Ricky. You took a little break and you came back like you're on fire. Like, these answers are great. I'm just saying, I like this.
Maybe I need a week away from social media. I'm just saying.
That is probably great advice for all of us.
I took that week away. I was like, I can breathe again, and then.
You're a year older and a year wiser too now.
I am a year older. Shh, I'm not a year older. What are you talking about? Don't make me come after you. Don't make me come after you. Yeah.
And I still remember, like, yeah, it seems like forever ago. Like, I still remember staying at the Wilderness Lodge one time. You could hear the race cars, and
yeah, it was a really cool experience when they had that. I mean, I didn't let him drive the race car because I felt like that would be a huge mistake.
You let him drive.
I let him sit in the passenger seat next to a driver, so I thought that was a little bit safer, because goodness knows we do not want Brian driving around a racetrack at that high of speed, and I'm just saying it's not.
I have seen the guy weaving in and out of cones at the marathon.
Yes, cones out of. Let's put it this way: Brian probably wouldn't have gone the speed limit that he would have needed to go for the race car experience, because he drives like a grandma here. So I mean, he probably would have gone like 40 miles under the speed limit.
That breaks my heart. All right, Pam, what other advice you have here?
I think the advice that both of y'all gave were great. I think that one of the things that I would suggest is that I think the thing that many people don't enjoy about an amusement park is the fact that it's go, wait in line all day long.
Yep.
And at Walt Disney World, you just don't have to do that. You can spend a few hours in the park, then you can absolutely go back to your Disney resort, as both of y'all have mentioned. It's just a really unique experience. There is something about those resorts that is really magical and adds to that experience. It really does. It enhances it. And when you have things like those fantastic pools and great restaurants and other recreation options, there's just no reason to spend all your time in the park. And I think that is the thing I would recommend to convert someone who is opposed to amusement parks. Guess what? Don't spend all your time in the parks. You don't need to.
I know, it's so weird, because I love the theme parks, but the more time I spend outside of them at the resorts, the more I appreciate the parks when I'm in them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because when I try to, and I know Ricky, you tend to stay longer, but if I try to stay for a full day without taking a break, it's just I'm not even having fun in the evening. I'm just
that's why I don't get there until noon.
That's true.
Yeah. See, then it works out for me. I'm just saying. See, then I can stay till park close.
And you like standing in those long lines. That's cool. Whatever.
I know how to get through them. I think that's the difference. Yeah.
All right, Ashley Gibson in the live chat says, finally, Pam is back. Welcome. How about that?
What am I, chopped liver?
I know. And you know what? I'm always here. I'm
that's because you won't let us do a show without you.
I love doing shows. This is my favorite thing too. It always has been.
He's been on his sick bed, and he's still I can still do this.
I was having surgery for the kidney, so I'm like, please, I got a podcast on Monday. Just get it.
That's not a joke. That's actually what happened. You think that's a joke? That's actually what happened.
You consent to surgery? Well, can I podcast on Monday? Sure. Okay, let's do it.
Pam and I were like, Mike, we got you. We'll take care of it. You're like, no, I got this.
She says, Ashley, I need to know. D23 in November at Walt Disney World. Am I going to regret going that weekend? Always book that weekend, and then they announce the expo. Thoughts? What should I expect? Has anybody been down for a D23 event at Walt Disney World? I never have. I've done the race.
No, I've always wanted to, but I know this is going to shock everybody. I'm not a D23 member. So I know.
It was at the very beginning. I got a watch or something.
I think I was I'm the free member, but I'm not a paid member. And a lot of times it's because the events, they don't really come to Atlanta, and they don't, I'm not near California, and it's a little bit easier to get to Florida, obviously, but they sell out so quickly. I mean, I think we watched, this D23 event sell out in no time flat. The good news is that most of the people that are going to these D23 events, they are going to an actual like event. So at D23 in Walt Disney World, it's really like these seminars that guests get to go to that are D23 members, and they sit through the seminars and learn about Walt Disney World and the history and how the things come to fruition and that kind of stuff. So really they're sitting in these seminars and they're not really in the parks. So the only time you may see like an influx of guests would probably be in the evenings. And otherwise I think you're going to be just fine. It's not going to be the number of guests who go to the D23, it's Destination D is what this is, not the D23 Expo, which is in California, and that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah, so I can't keep track of all the names of all the stuff because I haven't gone. So I know the stuff I've been to, like you have concrete examples, but like Destination D, D23 Expo.
Yes.
I get all confused.
No, it's easy to get confused. But the Destination D event, which is what happens at Walt Disney World, it's a much, much smaller scale. I mean, very, very small scale. There's, probably a few thousand, maybe, people that go to that. That can get into it. So it's not what you're thinking of, like the D23 Expo, which is, tens of thousands of people, at a convention center and that kind of thing. Like this is a much, much smaller experience. So I think you're going to be just fine. You're not going to really.
I would guess way less impact than a race weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I really don't think it's going to impact you at all. I mean, like I said, maybe in the evening, but I doubt that because it's just not going to be that many people. So.
All right. Here's a great question from Glenn Wilcox, one of my great guests over at the Magic for Less Travel. He's in here, Sparty up in his little fixture there. Scott would be proud of that because he's in Lansing. My wife and I are experienced 60-year-old Disney World travelers. This October, we're going on our first 3 generations trip with a 18-month-old and a 6-year-old. Can you suggest any hidden gems in the parks or resorts for the 6-year-old? For example, something like the old Sorcerer's the Magic Kingdom game. So what do you think, Pam? Something outside of the norm that's going to blow the socks off the 6-year-old. Len's been asking me about this. So here it is. We're bringing it to the table. What can we do?
Honestly, I would say, I would say that one of the things a 6-year-old is going to like is the activities at the pool in the afternoon. I'm going to tell you this. It's going to break your heart that he or she is going to be more excited about doing some of those activities at the pool than they could be about going to the parks, just because that is something that's really engaging for kids. And I think it really touches on some of those core memories, right? Because they're interacting with other kids at the same time. And so that I think helps them remember it. Now, having said that, there are other things at the resort that I think are really worth experiencing, not just for the kids, but as a family too. I'm going to give another plug to one of our favorite things, the movies Under the Stars. I think that is absolutely a hidden gem that happens at the resorts that is really worth experiencing. And together too. I think that that's something that makes it really special. And also the campfires that they have.
Oh, yes.
Marshmallows and do that because it's not, something that everyone gets to do. In the parks, I think that there's just so much going on that I know that people are always looking for something to make it that much more special. But sometimes it's hard to make it more special than a day at Walt Disney World, right? You're in the Magic Kingdom, kid. What more do you want, right? But have them get involved in the planning a little bit. Like maybe there is an out of this, like something that you didn't even think about meal that this child, once he knows about it or she knows about it, is really excited to experience. There were weird things that Hannah would want to do when she was a kid, when we were saying, we're going to Disney World. What do you want to do? And I say weird because like the answer was always so surprising to me. Like, really?
That's okay,
yes, we'll do that. You know what I mean? But I think getting them involved in that planning process then gives them something to look forward to, which really increases your chances that they're going to be blown away by that kind of thing.
I think that's great stuff because, as I look back at both Paige and because when Paige was little, it's kind of when they first started the like the poolside games, and they were, they have like, I don't know, because they, have like basically they have like a little sound system there. They roll out with, they have prizes for all these little games. They'll throw stuff in, like a little, dive in and grab the frog or, they'll do, Disney trivia. We always won Disney trivia. It's just like shooting fish in a barrel at that.
Right.
It's like, oh, yeah, we're getting a prize, baby. And then Mallory, one time we lost and I was like, oh, dude, sorry. Like Mallory got mad. She's like, we lost. I'm like, I know we lost. There's people know more about Disney than I do. I just pretty easy, but yeah, she's still mad, I think. But you know what? The funny thing is, like on this past trip, they were playing those poolside games at Stormalong Bay, and like that's all she could talk about was like, remember when, 5th century, remember when? Like I was like, like you don't ever talk about anything else, but she remembers that, and that. And usually they play them for like 2 or 3 hours, and like we could not leave when those were until like the DJ girl rolled out with the cart. Then we had permission to leave the pool.
Right.
So I don't know, Ricky, what else you got?
So there are a couple of those interactive type experiences in the parks, if that's something that you're kind of looking for. At the Seas with Nemo and Friends, they actually have. Now, I've seen them there before. I think they're mostly there. They have these little booklets, and you can kind of explore the different fish that are in the different tanks, and it's obviously fish that would be in the Finding Nemo series. So that's a kind of unique option for you. Of course, the KidCot fun stops, they are still occurring. They're just maybe not occurring in the same way that they used to.
They're kind of like flybys now.
They are like flybys. Yes.
I don't know, back in the day, man. You don't know how much time. Because here's how we used to do the KidCot fun stops. I hate to cut you off, but I got to tell this. So every time we go and they give you like a Duffy on a stick.
Yes, I have a Duffy on a stick over here.
For a while, it was like a Perry the platypus.
Yes.
Depending on like what the IP was at the time. In the way Paige did this like on one of her first trips with Molly. So this was her best friend we took, and they were both 7. So they're 24 now. So, but the thing was, I think I suggested that, God, it's a shame when your parents are teachers for real, and you got to turn everything educational. So, like what they would do is color right at each of the 11 stops. And so what we said was you got to color 1/11 of the Duffy.
Oh no.
Only the colors of that nation's flag.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So dude, we spent so much time at those picnic tables because then they had to figure out what the color of the flag was, and they had to color it all neat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're wasting 3 hours. Flyby was really good now. When I was down there this summer, I was like, dude, the flyby, these parents are winning.
Well, they stopped even coloring like they really just hand you a postcard type thing, and they stamp it now. I think that's pretty much all they do. But at least it gives you some information about the country and that kind of thing. The one other thing that they do, and this is at Disney's Animal Kingdom, is they have the Wilderness Explorers. Which is a fantastic experience. Definitely something that you should do. I mean, even adults can do the Wilderness Explorers too. And it's another booklet, and you kind of, it takes after the movie Up and Russell, and his badges and things like that. So you have to go and you have to collect badges, which are stickers, and you have to kind of do a few tasks and things like that while you're going around the park and learning about, the different animals or different regions of countries and stuff like that. So it's kind of a cool experience too. So those are a few of the like educational learning opportunities that are still fun, that I think like a 6-year-old would very much enjoy, or older than that too. So
there you go. It's great ideas. Yeah, and also Rhonda Lee says hidden Mickeys, maybe get a book, and then that's something ongoing as you're in the theme parks, all 4 theme parks, even other places around property. And shout out to Rhonda Lee's Canadian women's soccer team. Well,
there we go.
Yes, very good. Okay, let's see here. Jennifer's got a question. What are some of the outside of the parks, off the beaten path things to do to get away from the crowds? We're there next week and want some ways to get out of the crowds. One of my ways, I would just say real quick, because we've kind of talked about some of the stuff right now, hang at your pool, stuff like that, be at the resort. If you're at the Magic Kingdom, I love to have a lunch outside of the Magic Kingdom itself if you can draw yourself away from corn dog nuggets and cheese. Or Columbia Harbor House will be back open. Forget it. You got to have lunch.
Oh my gosh, Mike! I thought of you when it got announced. I was like, Christmas. Mike is going to be so mad he missed it.
I was doing the Ted Lasso dance.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Ted Lasso. I hear it's really good though.
Have you seen Ted Lasso, Pam?
I've not.
Oh man, you guys both got to watch it. It's a great show.
I may need Apple Plus. I don't have it.
It's pretty. It's a very optimistic show. That's
awesome. I've heard really good things about it, but I don't have Apple Plus.
Yeah, so I'm just saying this little PSA. That's pretty awesome. Some of the stuff he says though is pretty funny. Okay, so anyway, because now I'm going to be laughing, so I'll be thinking all of his quotes. My biggest thing is to have lunch outside of the Magic Kingdom. One of the things I like to do at the Magic Kingdom is take the boat over to Fort Wilderness. This kind of walk around Fort Wilderness, just it's so opposite of the chaos of the Magic Kingdom with everybody going. You can walk around, you can go in the store. There's a playground there. Just the boat ride itself's relaxing. You can maybe check out some of the campers over there because they're pretty sweet. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff over there to look at. So that'd be my observation. What do you got, Pam?
Yeah, I think getting out of the parks is the way to do it too. And if you can't get out of the parks, a sit down lunch, I think, is a great way to just sort of escape the craziness. I can remember many of time being at the Magic Kingdom and being so thankful that we had the lunch reservation at Tony's, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down and get that antipasta salad and an iced tea, and this is before they even serve liquor in the Magic Kingdom, right? And just be glad that I can be out of the wackiness of just being there. It sort of gives you a new perspective on things when you've had some time to sit in the AC for a while and have a decent meal. So I think that that's a good way to do it. And I think too, just keep, when you check in, ask for the schedule of activities there for your resort. And that will give you some things too, because in addition to the pool games, many of the resorts that we were at also had some craft activities. Some of them had a nominal fee, but they were truly nominal. We're talking under $10 here, but they did tie-dye shirts or some painting the ceramics or all of those kind of things. So make sure you check those out too.
And kids love those. We adults love those things. But I mean, it's like, again, that's the thing. Like, oh yeah, we went to the Magic Kingdom. What was your favorite part? You're like, oh, you think it's gonna be like riding Seven Dwarfs Mine Train,
right?
No, it was painting the pumpkin beach club or something.
Exactly.
We could have done that in the corner back home. Yeah, it's so sad. Just don't say that out loud when we go home. You gotta say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Just get that's
yes.
All right, Ricky. Here, let's get to the next question because you guys were down there, and I want to hit this one because this one's topical here. Cindy's asking. She says, "Hey, I'm minutes late in joining. We know I've marked you as tardy. I can't help it.
It's all right.
Next time we start at around 5:30.
That's right. I mean, yeah, we had a big pre-show tonight too. I'm telling you, go to the video. Not Ted Lasso funny, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, she says, but have you covered the specifics of what indoor masking means? For example, the queue for Thunder Mountain is primarily outside, mask or no mask. All right, Ricky, you want to tackle this one because you've probably written on it, I guess.
I have experienced it. So not this last trip, because this last trip I didn't have to wear a mask, but trips before. So I had the indoor masking issue, and it's basically as soon as you enter a queue line, no matter whether it's Big Thunder, which or it's an actual indoor queue line, you have to put your mask on, and the cast members will tell you to put your mask on as soon as you enter the queue. Now, I will say, if there's like an extended queue that's outside or whatever, before you get in line, like I had experienced this with Big Thunder, then they don't have you put the mask on until you actually like cross the threshold under the actual entrance of the attraction. So I hope that kind of helps you. But yeah, they will tell you as soon as you like officially enter the attraction.
So Pam, you left like the day it went back into effect, right on that Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Ricky, you were there at the Magic. What park did you go to? I know you went to Universal, but we went to
the Magic Kingdom, and then we did go to Epcot.
So, I mean, everything was just kind of like it was there a couple months back.
Because when I was there, you didn't have to wear a mask indoor or outdoors. So, unless you wanted to. So, I mean, most people weren't wearing a mask at that point.
They do. And I think too, with one of the issues is like Big Thunder is actually a perfect example, because while some of it is outside, once you reach a certain point, you'd be mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
They're just trying to help with consistency and remind guests when they get in that queue, and therefore don't have to have, cast members the whole way through.
Correct.
Reminding you to put the mask on for that time. But that's what it is right now. We don't know what it will be.
Who knows?
Tomorrow, the next day, or the next day after that. So, just have to stay tuned.
Either does Disney or the CDC, so we're on the same
page. Very true.
I'm just saying.
Very true.
Ashley's got it's not a question. Sorry, I almost said it was a question. It says not a question, but after watching Luca, I totally think Ricky needs to dress up like Julia. It's for Halloween. I couldn't stop thinking that it would be the perfect fit.
That's funny.
But I'll have to watch Coco, I guess.
That's not Coco. That's Luca.
Okay, I don't even know
Julia.
She even said it in the statement.
Yes, Julia is not a bad option, and I think that's really awesome. But I do have my costume for the Halloween party, and I just have to get the wig. which I know sounds really dumb since I have curly hair already, but I'm not dyeing my hair. So I am gonna go as Cruella for Halloween for Mickey's Not So Scary. So, or well, not Mickey's Not So Scary, but the Boo Bash. Yeah, exactly. So I am dressing as Cruella. So I gotta, as soon as the first spirit opens up here in Atlanta, I gotta run over there and grab a wig because I can guarantee you they'll have a Cruella wig. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
that's exactly how they need to welcome me.
Although it'll be so hot, probably wearing that wig. I'll be like Mike and regretting life choices.
I wore a wig that day and almost cost me my life.
Exactly. I'd be like, why didn't I just dye my hair? This would have been so much easier.
Oh man, that was when the podcast was young. This podcast almost didn't make it to 13 years because I was died in Fantasyland. It was so hot.
Mike was dressed as Captain EO for those who have missed the story.
My wife made it out.
Granted,
sweat.
He had the wig on, but I think what almost killed him was the fact that he was actually wearing a sweatsuit in the middle of September.
It was warm.
It was very warm. Yeah.
Should have had scrubs or something looking back.
Yeah, that was a dumb
It was
choice.
worth it. It was a great costume.
It was a great costume.
For Epic October, we used to do that every year.
Yeah, Epic October. This year will kind of be like another little Epic October because we'll be down there on October 1st.
Yeah, this will be the ultimate Epic October. Actually, I didn't think about it. I'm not dressing up like Captain EO. At least not yet.
Probably smart. Yeah.
There's a 1% chance. Probably not.
Probably not.
One's asking, okay, you guys are just down there. Pam, how about this one? How's construction looking over at Epcot right now?
So the front of it still, I mean, you're walking construction walls to get through it. I think the thing that I really loved about it, though, was that I can see the Epcot monorail going through Epcot again. I know.
Awesome. Man, I missed that.
I know, right?
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
It was awesome. Whenever we rode it, I almost felt emotional, really and truly, just about being there. It was just so good to see that up and running again. So there were a few things that really did make me emotional when I was down there, but the Epcot monorail was, it touched my heart for sure when you do that loop around Epcot right there. It's so cool. So there is still construction going on the front. I anticipate that going on for quite a while. But we're getting closer to the 50th here, and I think we're going to see some progress happen as we continue to approach that magic date. And let me just tell you, Disney construction is no joke right now, especially in things that they want to have done by the 50th. They're not just working 9 to 5.
Nope.
The construction goes on into, especially in areas where a guest won't be impacted in their hotel room. It goes on for extended periods of time. So it's really interesting to see and exciting to see that Disney as a company that probably, had a huge financial impact from everything that's gone on has decided, guess what? We're so optimistic about the future that we're going to dump a bunch of money into our parks and resorts. So I love seeing it.
Yep. Move that dirt. Make new stuff. Let's go. I'm ready.
True.
That Tron coaster, man, that thing is going fast.
It's awesome. It really is. I was shocked to see how far it had gone, but it's incredible. Yeah.
That thing looks fun.
It's going to be so crazy awesome. I can't wait.
I can't wait, man. This is going to be great. Okay. And I'll probably ride it once and be like, that thing made me puke.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Passage. Did it once. I'm too old for this stuff. Okay. Last question today from Amanda, which I have no answer for because I am so confused by Run Disney right now. Everything I've learned about Run Disney over the last decade, I know nothing about it anymore. But she asks, thoughts on the Run Disney courses for Wine and Dine and Marathon Weekend? With construction at Epcot, it is likely that the courses will be different. Yes. Is it likely the courses will be different? Yes. I mean, because the area that, at least for Marathon, and I think Wine and Dine have Marathon, like where you would go through Future World, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
You would have to get a hard time out, grab your hard hat. Okay, go right. Okay,
right.
Hard hat. Okay, you're through the construction zone.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we'll even go into Epcot. I wouldn't guess for any of the races, even World Showcase, because here's what you might do. Now that I think about it, you might do one of those things where you go in through Mexico and go out like the International Gateway. Or through that gate by UK.
Test track?
No.
Well,
They usually bring you in like by Mexico or China or somewhere.
Right.
And then they spit you out. Either that you go out through the not the International Gateway because that's the touch points, but you go out through, there's There's a big gate by
Yes.
the side of the UK, kind of about where the Joffrey's coffee stand is.
Yes.
About Rosencrown. Yes. So that would probably be it. So like I say, you touched Epcot. That's probably because they want to make it 4 parks, but you obviously won't be in Future World. That'd be crazy though. Like if you had to go
they could. I mean, they could. It would be a logistical nightmare, I'm sure, but they could route you through. And I mean,
say, though, was it Princess though that we ran through that new concrete in Future World? We might have. Actually, we did. We did run through that in Princess Half Marathon.
That's what I'm saying. You could still do it.
We ran through Future World, a part of it.
Because they have. I mean, the start of the race is always at Epcot. So
you know what? We came in or out one of the places next to the Imagination Pavilion in the Seas.
Yeah.
On the marathon, you come in next to the Seas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of that, though, the construction that's happening right now, some of those passages seem so narrow that I would hesitate. I think that they would hesitate at that. Who knows? Not to say that they can't come up with something else. I'm just saying, as it stands right now, some of those passageways are very narrow.
And I'm shocked. I mean, the whole thing is with Run Disney. I can't wait to hear the courses. I mean, it is August now, and Wine and Dine is in November. Beginning of November, so we should be getting courses here soon. But I thought all these races would sell out like lickety split. I mean, as of recording right now, marathon weekend, you can still run the marathon. You can still sign up for the Dopey Challenge. I thought it'd be gone in 5 minutes. Yeah, with Scott, we were signing up over a week ago, and it's still available. For Wine and Dine is recording the half marathon and the 2-course challenge, both available. I mean, shocking.
That is shocking. Wow. Hey, if you want to run a race at Disney, now's the time to do it, right? I guess.
It's crazy. I just don't know what to think. I mean, because we'll see. I mean, it's just one of those things, like we talked about this on Sunday Night's Live call-in shows, that, Scott and I kind of came to the opinion that, we're signed up. We're hoping for the best. I mean, because races might not happen. I mean, they probably will now they've had registration, but I mean, it's happened before. Things are fluid, obviously, in Florida right now. But you train, you get out there and you hope for the best and whatever course they throw out there for us. I mean, the thing is, if they give us a different course, that'll be fun because a lot of us run the races before. I'd rather run something different. So we'll see. I mean, as long as it's not, I hope they just don't throw us on the roads. I don't want that.
Oh yeah. That would be awful.
That'd be brutal. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, by the time the show comes out on Wednesday, all the courses have been published. So
you're welcome. Yeah, that's us.
Exactly how it works with us. Okay. Anyway, all right, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday. Friday show. We're talking about Pam's 7-resort stay. Ricky's stay down at Walt Disney World. She visited Walt Disney World and Universal. So we'll talk about everything going on, food and wine, the new rooms at the Polynesian, all kinds of good stuff. And of course, we'll talk food because that's what food and wine is and how it is in July. That'll be fun too.
Hot.
I bet. All right. So we are going to talk about that. But until then, don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for your trip planning needs. Everything you need when you're heading to your Disney destination. We take great care of our guests every time. We just want to give you that service you get at Disney from the time you start thinking about the trip. So just visit themagicforless.com. There's great trip planning tools to kind of look at resort guides, decide, hey, I got to say, on the Caribbean Beach Resort Guide, when you hit that one, there's a beautiful picture of the Skyliner gondolas going over. I think it's Jamaica. I just love that. I'm about to steal that from my wallpaper on my computer. So if you want to do that, just do it. Just don't tell me. Anyway, it's a great picture. And it's, then you look at it, you can see all the room types. You can see, there's different dining available. Sebastian's Bistro. You can get to know the resort and decide, hey, that looks like that's a great place for our family or for us as a couple or a single, whatever it is. And that kind of helps you get going, and then fill out the quote form. We'll find out the pricing, the availability, but jump on it, man. I'm telling you, rooms are flying, especially if you want to go in 2021. But we'll find you something. We're flexible. We're creative. So we'll get you something. So just fill out that quote form, mention the show. I'll take great care of you over there. So check them out over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link. Great way to support the show. One extra click. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons for allowing us to put the show out every week, multiple times a week. And our patrons get Mike in the Midwest every Thursday. So it'll be tomorrow. And it's going to be open mic part 2, 5 topics, 5 minutes. You never know what's going to come at you. So if you want to get in on that, just visit patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Of course, follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at BeOurGuestPod and at BeOurGuestMike. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. So give them a follow on the socials as well, because I think Ricky's over her break.
I am over my break, yes.
It was a break. We were on a break.
I was on a break. Yes. I was actually. Speaking of that, it's interesting. This weekend, I am going to a friend's like social media experience. So like it's all different sets and stuff like that from the series Friends, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah,
it's kind of scary because I'm trying to hit like that 21-year-old demographic there with Friends, because that seems to be the people that always have the shirts on now.
They are, yes. I'm so excited about this. Also, I think it's very funny that everybody who's like way younger than me is watching Friends now, and I sat there and watched it live first time.
Like when I was a kid, my dad always like had Leave It to Beaver on, and I actually liked Leave It to Beaver when I was a kid, like Brady Bunch and stuff, and that was kind of before my time. Anyway, we're totally digressing. So yes. Again, subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube. You're getting a little notification when we go live. We love having you here in the chat. It makes the show so much better. And we had a fun, I have to say, if I have to say it myself, like my grandma used to say, if I have to toot my own horn, I'll have to toot it right here. We had a fun pre-show on the video today, which isn't on the audio. So just check it out over on youtube.com/Our Guest Podcast. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back again on Friday. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Yeah, Michelle, that is more fun when you're here. You guys, you powered us. Let's see.
Us.
No,
I like that I sounded smart today. That's nice.
You were on fire. You're like burning.
It's not every day I sound smart. So.
I say that often. I do say that a lot.
No, it's not every day.
The Ricky's dress game. Will Ricky buy that dress? Yes.
I mean,
it was a Cruella de Vil dress that we saw in the co-op when I said that.
Yeah, I didn't buy that one. I bought the other dress.
Oh, I lost.
You did. Yes, I have the other dress. I actually wore it on our anniversary, to our anniversary dinner.
Nice.
Yeah, it says Cruella all over it, which is the funny part. But you can't see it. It's like in really like light red letters, so you can't, because the dress is red. It's basically themed after her red dress in the movie. So
I haven't seen it. Cool. Yeah, I haven't seen Jungle Book either. John Cruise.
Jungle Book? Yeah, Jungle Cruise. I saw it this weekend.
I did too. I went to see it.
Good.
It was good. It was very entertaining.
Yes, it's an entertaining movie. It is a total popcorn flick. It is. It is not to be taken seriously. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. But I think too that sometimes like really diehard Disney fans forget that there's still a bunch of people who just want to be entertained.
Exactly.
They don't have to know the ins and out of every movie or why it should or should not have been made in the history of the company. And,
I enjoyed it. I gotta say,
I could just go and enjoy.
I enjoyed sitting there and just being entertained by Emily Blunt and The Rock. So it was all good.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson, because that's what he goes by now.
And Rob, I don't know if you listen to one of my favorite podcasts, but if you listen to Twit, This Week in Tech, that's what they always say. Another Twit is in the can. I should say that at the end. Anyway, no. And Teresa,
did you hear that?
Donk, yeah. Glad to do between shows. Teresa, I imagine you sitting at Three Bridges right now, listening to the feed here and having mimosas.
I got to see Teresa, which I was glad to do.
I did briefly hear it. Not long enough.
Fun. No, it never is long enough.
Always so fast. Okay. Here we go.
And Craig is correct. Cruella was one of the best recent releases. And Emma Stone was awesome.
I'm not paying $30, dude. I can wait.
As was Emma Thompson.
I'm saying I waited 47 years. I can wait 3 months for it to be free.
Got it.
And I won't even watch it then. I haven't seen Luca or Coco or anything. So
Luca's free.
I know. I haven't seen any of them. That's what I'm saying. I just don't watch movies. I've been watching Olympics, man. I got to watch dressage. I got to see what's happening with those horses.
I know, right? The steps. And people don't realize this, but making a horse go backwards is harder than one would think. They don't like to do that.
I don't like to back up. I don't either anymore. Too much. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Rob does listen to Twit. Nice. Shout out Leo Laporte. I'll have to post my picture of me and Leo and Alex Lindsay. I was so fanboying when they came to St. Louis. That was so cool. I met him at the train wreck, Ricky.
Oh, fun.
Train wreck saloon.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh, Len's asking, are you boo bashing around? Are there any boo bashes around October?
Actually, I'm pretty sure that might be the night I'm going to the boo bash. I think I'm going on the 15th of October.
There you go.
Yeah.
See Len. Okay, here we go. Dun, dun. Man, I got a sneeze coming on. I hate when that happens. Every time I get ready to open the mic. Okay, it's gone. Just ignore it.
Don't give it any attention.
I hate that. Okay, here we go. Oh, the dog's down here and the hedgehog is close. Do not squeeze that hedgehog.
Squeaky, squeaky.
I think she's asleep. Oh, okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1944 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Man, I'm getting excited. I know that it's back to school time. Again, teachers, students, I'm not going to dwell on that. Enjoy what's left of your summer, which I know is very limited. And some kids have already gone back to school, especially teachers. I know some have already gone back. So if you have gone back, let's just wish you a great school year, a more nominal or normal school year this year. Let's hope that, because I know last year my wife worked really, really hard, and all the teachers and students both around the world didn't ask for all this, but they all stepped up and kept learning going. But let's hope that it's more traditional this year and everybody gets their football games on Friday nights. Come spring, get your proms, your graduations, because really that's what school's about. You know, it's about learning and all that, but it's also about the social stuff that, you know, it's once in a lifetime event. So let's hope we have a great school year to everybody heading back. But today we're talking about Walt Disney World vacations. That's why you're here, right? Let's escape for the next 30, 40 minutes and talk about some fun stuff. So joining me to do just that, we have Ricky, who we talked about on Wednesday about all of her dresses and all of her Halloween costumes. She's going to be Cruella. She's over at the mouseforless.com. What's up, Ricky? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Looking forward to another great weekend here in Atlanta. So, I got big plans. I'm going to go to the Friends exhibit, which I'm very excited about. And, basically take lots of pictures on the couch and pretend to have coffee and, all that stuff. So I'm really excited about it, actually.
Man, that is such a Ricky weekend right there. I mean, like, if you wanted like a Ricky weekend, that's a go to a Friends exhibit. I mean, that is I think really much.
Fun fact. I actually booked my tickets for the Friends exhibit while waiting in line for Splash Mountain.
That's funny.
Is that a fun fact?
It's a fact.
It's a fact, I guess.
I don't know how fun it is, but that's a fun fact. Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell Joey I said hello.
I will. How you doing?
How you doing? Man, that show was on so long ago. That really makes me feel old, because was that on in the 90s, I guess?
It started in the 90s, 1994, and it ended in 2004. I was obsessed back then. I mean, I'm still obsessed now, but it was my whole life back when I was, a teenager and probably too young to be watching Friends at the time. So, yeah.
Smelly cat, what are they feeding you?
Yes. I like some of Phoebe's other songs that are a little more interesting. We're not going to sing those, though.
Yes, let's move on. We have Pam Forester. She's co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday, Pam. What's going on?
Happy Friday. I am not going to the Friends exhibit this weekend. I'm sorry to say. I think I would enjoy it, though, if I were. I'm just going to say that. And by the way, Ross and Rachel should not have ended up together. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. So you're one of those people.
I don't agree with that.
We're going to throw down Pam.
Friday, got to give us a little heads up on that.
We're going to throw down Pam. It's on. It's on.
No.
Fighting you now. It's fine.
No. So anyways, but yes, I'm looking forward to getting the chance to talk about our trip, because I did 8 million things, I think, when I was there.
I think so too.
Then let's lead it off. So you just got back last week, and okay. So on Mondays, we kind of dive in with our guests. Also, I want to give a shout out to Ella Layton, who was on our podcast on Monday. I've gotten so many compliments. She just turned 18. She had her 18th birthday and carved out a little time for us to talk about her trip to the yacht club with her dad in May.
That's awesome.
So many compliments. Great show. So thank you to Ella for coming on and sharing that.
And happy birthday, Ella. That's awesome.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
All right. So Pam, you were down there on the Monday shows. We kind of typically jump in with like resort stays, then theme park experiences, and dining, kind of the 3 big ones we hit. But we don't have to. You did so.
We don't have time to ask about Pam's resort stays.
I kind of want to focus on resorts with you, because that's kind of that's like where your heart is. I know.
It is.
And so jump into the resort stays, because that's what people always are asking about. Like, what was it like to stay here and there? So give us some info on that.
I know. And I will say, I really do my best to try to stay at every Disney resort, at least, if not once a year, every other year. And when I say all, I mean all, like every single one. Just because I think that is the way that we get to best learn about the resort, and you learn things that you could never,
right?
Whatever, you could train on them till the cows come home, right? Our team, there's almost always one of us in the parks or in resorts. That's just the way it is. We're passionate about the destinations that we sell to the point that we go and experience them, and it truly is work at different times. But anyways, so the resorts is something that I'm really passionate about, and I stayed at a bunch of them today. But I just wanted to say, first of all, that one of the resorts we stayed at was Grand Floridian, and I know that this comes up often, right? Does it feel stuffy?
Is it grand? Yeah.
Yes, right? People are worried. Am I going to fit in here? Well, if you're vacationing in Walt Disney World, you will fit in at the Grand Floridian. There are just no doubts in my mind. You just can. It's not a stuffy resort at all. There's always something going on. There's so many dining locations. There's kids running around all over the place. There's all the things that you find at the other resorts. And there's just something about the Grand Floridian that really sort of feels kind of grand. It does. I can see how that Victorian theme maybe feels stuffy to people, but it really isn't. So don't ever worry about staying at the Grand Floridian, because it's for everyone who's there.
So 2 things on that, because I got to back you up there. I mean, one is that they let Ricky and myself, we've both stayed at the Grand. And I mean, if they let us stay there, they'll let anybody stay there. And plus, here's the one thing I noticed. Once I see like somebody else's kid like having a meltdown in the middle of the Grand Floridian, dude, I feel so much better. I'm like, okay, cool. Like somebody else's kid's having a meltdown. It's all good. I can be here. My kid, at least can match that, but it probably not go worse. So that makes me, if kids melt down at the Grand, just like they do at Pop Century.
Yep. There's people rolling through the lobby in swimsuits. There's, food being spilled on the couches. I mean, it happens there just like it happens everywhere else. So it's a great resort. And I think with the new walkway over to the Magic Kingdom, that's a big plus for that resort right now. I mean, one of the things I love being in control of is when I get to a resort, and if I can walk there, chances are we're going to give that a shot. So love that. I also want to say, with the reopening of Citrico's, which has a beautiful new theme, a little bit of Mary Poppins Returns, their theming there. And let me tell you, you do see it. You see some penguins. You see the bag, I will say, are there. And it just really has a very, very quaint feel to it. And the food was spectacular. So you might want to give that one a try. But the one I really want to talk about, ready, is the Polynesian. Because guess what? Some of those new rooms are now open, and they are beautiful. Really, 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 truly beautiful.
So you have a video up because you did a tour. So I know that you can check that out here after you listen to the show.
Yes. Let's do the show first.
I'd rather you listen to the show first, but I mean, now that you already hit play, we're pretty good. No, you want to finish the show, but do check that out because I gave you the visuals for this. But when these were announced, tepid response, I think, online, because a lot of folks were worried that they were forcing IP. Of course, it is Moana into the Polynesian, but from what I've seen from your video, it made me feel a lot better. And what I'm seeing on socials, people are excited. The people that actually stay there, like, it's more subtle, I think, than we were expecting.
100%. And I say that in the video. The video is me giving a tour of the room. It's not very long. I try to keep those short because I know people, lose interest after a while, right? That I could go on for like 35 minutes on how many plugs and USB ports.
Here for 40 minutes. I mean, that's exactly the point.
My love for storage areas, toiletries, and USB ports would just shine through for the whole 40 minutes.
God, it's another USB port right where it needs to be.
That's right. Oh. It's not just one. It's not just two. Yes. So anyways, but I was a little worried when I saw the Moana theme. And not because I don't trust Disney, because at the end of the day, I do. In most situations, they do such a fantastic job, better than I could dream of, right? I guess that's why they're Disney and I'm Pam Forester. So, so we have some separation there, right? Because some of these ideas, if they came to me and I was running Disney, I'd be like, nope, we're not doing that. Nope. But I will say the Polynesian is an original Disney resort, and I felt like it really deserved a good makeover. And to be honest, it needed a good makeover. let's be honest here. Some of those room amenities were from the 70s, like literally.
You know what? I love the 70s though. That's my vibe. Like, give me some shag carpet and some oranges and browns, and I'm really in heaven. But I'd like some fresh stuff, right? I don't want the gunk from the 70s in the car.
Right. Well, you don't want to have to use an outlet from the 70s.
No, probably not safe.
Exactly. No. Yeah, it's probably
no. But the second I walked into these rooms, I was like, oh, they did this well. I mean, they did it really well. So one of the things I felt like the Polynesian needed was sort of a zhuzh in terms of the decor, the furnishings, and the colors that they have throughout those rooms. And they've really sort of done that with these really relaxing blues and greens and browns. And they do some pops of color here and there. So that part they did a fantastic job at. They updated, first of all, the bathroom area, which truly, truly needed it. And did all those things that I mentioned before. They added lots more plugs and lots more USB ports. And I think that those are things that we all appreciate so much. And more than just appreciate, we expect them now when we're going into a high-end hotel room. I expect that there's going to be enough plugs and ports for me to plug in all my devices and not. And let me just tell you, if there's not, then there's a problem. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, I could not. I hate this room.
Because I mean, I'll tell you what, before they did these upgrades, like at Pop Century, and that's kind of where they started all this. Like, I was always packing power strips and all that. It's so much nicer to not have to pack all that junk. You know what I'm saying? Like with the expectation, and the thing is, it's like anything else. Once you stay in a room that's got all these this well thoughtful, thought out storage space, USB ports, it's hard to go back. I mean, because
it is.
Caribbean Beach have added some USB ports, but like they didn't have the under the bed storage. And I'm like,
right.
How do I stay in a hotel room without under the bed storage? And like I did it for ever until like 3 years ago. But yeah, it's hard. And
Mike now is like, I must have underbed storage.
Right, exactly.
What do you mean there's no underbed storage? This room is not for me.
I know, I'm jamming my suitcase into the platform thing. Like, what is going on here?
I know, right? So the Moana theme, it's not like you walk into the room and there's a cardboard cutout of Moana and Maui right there.
Oh, no, there's
Sorry. In fact,
some ladies and gentlemen would probably like that if Maui was there.
Yeah, right.
Like on the big shower curtain, like at Art of Animation in the Little Mermaid rooms. It's like, you're welcome.
Yes. No, there's not that. And instead, there are these little touches throughout the room that are just spectacular. There's one room that is like, it looks like a mural, right? And it's again done in these really relaxing colors. And if you look really closely, you can see Moana and you can see Maui, but it's not so in your face. Like, it's really subtle. And I bet that some people don't. I mean, if you didn't know what Moana was, I don't even know that you'd really even catch it. You just kind of be like, there's a pattern on the wall, and there's a girl there, and whatever. In addition, the other thing they did too is they put in a little hidden Mickey, so make sure you look for that one. But like in the artwork that's in the room, that is subtle Moana touches. And my favorite part is right by the coffee maker. They have this beautiful, colorful. Now this is one of the pops of color. They have a colorful Hawaiian flower. And then at the bottom is hey.
I love it.
And he's right there by the coffee maker. So it's kind of like two of my favorite things right there in the same location.
Coffee, we're good.
Coffee and hey, we're good. So yes, I love it. So I love that they just did the Moana things in little touches. Like the tile in the shower, some of them have sort of a tribal pattern on the tile. Really cool, really just so Disney. There's little places on the cupboards that remind me of that, again, that tribal pattern. And there's things about these rooms that really remind me of the Disney Cruise Line room. First of all, the closets, when you first walk in, there's a bank of 3 closets. And thankfully, there's some lighting and other things there, because in the old style rooms, let's just say you were sort of fumbling around for your clothes in the dark at different times. There was not a lot of lighting there. It was bad. But also the other thing is with the where the area where the beds are, there are 2 queen beds in most rooms and a pull down bed, but it's a pull down bed sort of like is in the cruise, right? That top part of the couch pulls down and reveals a regular mattress. So no bars to worry about. I like that they're always sort of addressing those things. This isn't an uncomfortable bed. Nice. This is a regular bed with a mattress that pulls down. So I like that too. Trying to think about some other things. Just little details. The lighting fixtures, again, have little patterns that have some of the characters from Moana. I really liked seeing that. And then the pops of color are really on the pillows and accents and things like that. One of the other things that they did that I really liked, and I'm glancing down through my pictures, and I took a picture of this because I loved it so much, is, so you know when you're in a hotel room and you're in the bed, right? And one of you gets the side with the nightstand, and then the other one gets the side that doesn't have the nightstand.
Yes, because I get the nightstand.
That's so me. I always, as soon as we get into a room, I always grab that side of the bed.
Right?
That's so me. Yeah,
you like set up shop.
Right. Pam, you're on the other side of the room. I go, because the nightstand's on the other side of the room.
That's right. So they made sure to attach these little shelves next to the bed on the side that doesn't have the nightstand.
Oh, that's
and
handy.
Of course, there's a plug and a USB port there too. So guess what? You don't have to fight over the nightstand anymore.
I'm still going to fight over it, but it's fine.
Saved so many relationships right there. I mean,
yep. That's right. Disney was like, we're going to fix this. Boom. And they did.
Bill consulted on these rooms, like, hands on both sides of the bed. Everybody.
Yes, right. They did add Moana themes. Lisa is asking if they added the Moana theme to the hallways, and they did. So first of all, they have carpeting that is very Moana themed. And in addition, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of Grand Destino, but in the hallways at Grand Destino, there are these big sort of pieces. They almost look like pieces of art, right?
They're beautiful.
Right, they're all over. And they have those as well in the hallway. And if you look, you'll typically find a Moana character hidden somewhere in there. So that's awesome too. So all in all, I really was just, I loved the rooms. I think it was just so needed. And it really did honor the fact that this is an original Walt Disney World resort, but it made it appeal to so many other people, I think.
So real quick on that, what was it like staying there? Because there's still construction going on at the Polynesian. Of course, they're still working on the monorail station, stuff like that. So what was the overall feel of being at the Polynesian in July?
So it's interesting. The monorail is not stopping at the Polynesian right now because of that. And your workaround is just to get off at the TTC and walk through the Polynesian and get to the resort. The other thing we found is, depending on where you're staying, your walk to the Grand Floridian may be a shorter path too. So keep that in mind if you're staying there while the construction continues. We weren't impacted really by any of the construction. The Great Ceremonial House is still open. Just about all the restaurants are open. And that's the other thing I will add to all these tips. We ate at both Ohana and we got to go into Trader Sam's. So tried both of them, right? I know.
Nice.
Tried both of those things. And I think that, again, these are two of the restaurants that really add to the overall theming at the Polynesian, right? Ohana, I mean, that's been a staple at this resort for quite a while. And I think it really does sort of enhance that. You're still smelling like the cooking of the meats all around the resort after a certain time, right? You really are. It's part of that. It's part of that whole thing. And Trader Sam's is Trader Sam's, right? It's so fun. It's really a unique experience. It's so much more than a bar or a lounge. It just is an overall experience. And if you have the opportunity to experience that, I highly suggest it.
So real quick on that, how hard was it to get in and how'd that work out?
So right now, if you're really interested on going like right when it first opens, there was still sort of a line leading up to, let's say they opened at 3, the line might have started at 2:30 or something like that. It wasn't that challenging. But the other thing they're doing is a virtual queue. They just take your name, put you down on the list, and then they give you a text back when your time's up. And they give you a fairly good estimation about how long it will take. But, people always stay a little longer. So there's that. But I feel like the menu sort of has expanded too with Trader Sam's. It always felt like there were just like almost strictly apps before. Mm-hmm. And we actually like sort of had dinner there. I mean, we ordered a bunch of apps, but at the same time, it felt like it had expanded in that space. So,
did you guys have a fun drink?
We did. I'm trying to think which ones we got this time. They still do so many of the gags, right?
That is
and we were with.
You want to order your drink because of what they do. That's the whole point,
right?
Exactly. And we were there with friends and also our guest service coordinator and her husband Audie and Tim. And Tim went to order the tiki drink thing, and he didn't say all the tikis, and she like deadpanned, no, I'm sorry, we don't have that. You'll have to order something else. And so then he's looking through the menu trying to find like another drink. And she lets him go for like a full minute looking for another drink. And then she's like, maybe you just want to read the name of that one again. So anyways, it was really funny. But yeah, and great servers there. Really, those folks have picked up right where they left off. So it was good to see all that back. I again, when you're there and the rain is happening, the volcano's going off, people are swimming through, there's so many things. And the goddess that used to be in the tiki room is there, what's her name? I forget. But anyway, she's there. She's still there. She's doing things. So
she's doing tiki things.
She is doing.
The stool still sank. The one stool, gotta love that. That's the best gag ever.
Yes. Yes. We saw it, dude. His chin was like pretty much
That's fantastic.
Yes. So yeah, lots of good stuff there. I just, I think that the Polynesian, one thing, I'm going to wrap up with the Polynesian here before we go on to other things, but I think that one thing I will say about the Polynesian is it's really such a destination resort that I would consider adding a night or two at the end of my trip just to experience it. So I think it's worth it.
Okay, so let's hop into something that I think both of you guys did, and it is on the minds of a lot of guests going down here very soon. That is the 1/3 of the year, the 33% of 2021.
You're not wrong.
It's the Food and Wine Festival, which
wrong.
Kicked off on July 15th.
It did.
So the day I left, of course. But so Ricky, let's jump. You were at Epcot during the festival, so let's get some hot picks there for folks that are going down. What not to miss in the overall vibe.
I think you were correct with the word hot picks because it was.
How was that cheddar cheese soup in Canada?
Hot. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No cheddar cheese soup for me. Trust me. I was like, where can I get the most cooling things ever? Okay. So Brian and I had this plan because I wanted to go get some content so I could start to share it for the master list. So I was like, okay, I need to go to Food and Wine, and I only had one day I could go, and I only had the morning/afternoon, and because we were driving back home that night. So I was like, okay, let's just go. And of course it's the middle of the afternoon, so nothing says eating around World Showcase like the middle of the afternoon on a hot day. So
that's a challenge too. I mean, well, it's always been this way at Food and Wine, but with Epcot opening at 11 o'clock, I mean, you're going to be there in the hot part of the day. I mean, almost.
Well, I mean, but the World Showcase always opened at 11.
I mean, the Food and Wine Festival, not that big.
Right. So we actually, because it was so hot, we did something that was kind of unique. We tried to dine in all the places that were indoors. And this year there are a number of places that are indoors that you can dine in. So we actually stopped off and we picked up Pam, I know you tried this because I saw the picture and I was like, I've got to get it. It was the s'mores whoopie pie. And oh my goodness, it was amazing. It's huge, by the way. So we picked that up and then we went inside of the Odyssey, which has a bunch of, it has like chicken wings. So this is a new booth for this year, is just a bunch of chicken wings. So
it's called the Odyssey Buncho Chicken Wings. they're really losing their class there at Epcot. I'm just saying. They used to try a lot.
They don't have so many names they can come up with, for goodness sake.
I think it was called the Brew Wing. No, I'm not a joke. Like, I think it was Brew Wing.
I expect that from Disney. That's a Disney
exactly.
the old bucket of wings kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
So But it was fantastic because there were still some tables available that were open because it was still early in the morning. And so we just sat, we had our chicken wings and we had the s'mores whoopie pie, and we just kind of hung out in there in the air conditioning and enjoyed life while we were in the cool air. So that was step number 1. So then we walked around World Showcase for a little bit, taking pictures and stuff like that. And then it started to get hot again. So we're like, okay, let's stop in the American Adventure Pavilion. I knew they had the Rotunda for a spot this year, which is a new spot. And they literally have people dining in the Rotunda. I was like, let's see how this works. Because, again, new. And literally where, like, and I'll explain why this works. Voices of Liberty did sing is where you're dining. Now, the reason they can do this.
Saying basically it's a dinner show.
Yeah, well, the reason they can do this is because Voices of Liberty is singing outside right now at the American Gardens Theater, so that's why they can do this. So we stopped and we went and got the Lobster Roll from the booth outside, and oh my gosh, the Lobster Roll this year is phenomenal. It is not covered in too much mayonnaise. There was a ton of lobster, so good this year. So definitely suggest getting the Lobster Roll. And then we made our way. I thought that the old festival center, or the, you know, where they have right now, they've had a World Showplace. Yes, they've had a bunch of like booths in there. I think that's going to open on October 1st because it was closed while we were there. So I think that that's like where a bunch of stuff is, because October 1st is when a bunch of other festival booths open. So I think that that's when that's going to open. So we're like, oh man, we're still looking forward to the air conditioning here. So instead we went over to Canada, and where they normally have the film, they currently have the Appleseed Orchard booth. And so you can go in and it's really cute the way they have it decorated. They have on the screens, they have like this animation.
They're serving food in the theater.
They are.
Yes. Canada? I didn't know that.
Yes, okay. They are. So they have this animation thing going on, and it's just a really cool little vibe that they have going on. And we picked up an apple crumble, which was really good. And then I tried the apple pie dessert, like a slush thing, which was very weird. It tasted good. It really did taste like an apple pie, but when you got to the bottom, there were actual chunks of apple slices. And it was, let's just say, after it sat in the drink for a while, it got a little mushy and weird. I did not enjoy the apple chunks.
It's like those apples that get dropped at the orchard.
Yeah, exactly. They were the bad apples. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, we did the indoor booths because I knew that I'd be back for, October 1st, and then we're going to come back again in the middle of October for the Boo Bash and everything like that. So I was like, we will hit up the Food and Wine Festival again. But since it was so unbearably hot outside that day, we were just like, let's just try to do all the things that are indoor. And yes, the good news is like, you can take things indoors to locations if you need to. So like we'd grab a couple of dishes and then bring them inside the indoor location. So that's a tip as well. So
that sounds good. Yeah. This time of year, I mean, really, you need to kind of find a place to, in the fall. I mean, it's still hot in November. But
it's not 95 degrees.
Right now, I mean, it just melt you hot. Like, so you don't want to really be dining on top of a garbage
trash can. No, not really. No.
All right. So what did you think of Food and Wine? I mean, you guys are both there. What was your go-to? Did you have anything that stood out?
We had a bunch of places that we really liked. Like Ricky, we did take advantage of the indoor locations. I was really glad to have those options, especially in the summer. And I think it's such a great response to something that guests are really going to want.
Yes.
I mean, we're starting this in the summer. So this is the way, that I think it makes it more accessible to people. It was just genius in that space. I forget what they're calling it this year, but it was the smoky ones it's like Flavors from Fire or something like that. I think had some really great options. Like Ricky was mentioning, the s'mores one I think was good. They had a corned beef like hash that was served over chips. That was really good. And they had steak with sort of a chimichurri sauce on top of a corn cake with slaw on top. Again, really good. And everything felt and tasted like it really was cooked over fire. So I thought those were some good choices. They also had the Swanky Swine, which had ribs and it had some pimento cheese, but it was served with pork rinds and stuff like that. Like things that are from the pig. They also had a really nice pork roast that came with something. We really liked that booth too. But they had this sort of like cheese scavenger hunt sort of thing almost, where there are these 5 dishes or 4 dishes or however many, I forget how many there were, that you go through. And then if you get each of these dishes and get your stamp, then you can show them and you get sort of a prize at the end. And the prize that you get is this like cheesecake soft serve with this, that kind of flavoring. And it was really good. So definitely worth doing. If you're someone who enjoys cheese, go ahead and do that kind of thing, because then you'll get that prize at the end.
That's awesome.
That's kind of a cool thing.
Where do you sign up for that though? If you want to do that, you got to go.
You just get the booklet. And so then each time you order one of those dishes, they would stamp it for you. So you do have to order the dishes, but if you're going to get those dishes anyways, you might as well get your booklet stamped and get the free prize at the end, right? For that. The other thing I wanted to mention was Corksicle is one of the big sponsors of this year's Food and Wine event. And they have these awesome food and wine Corksicles that you can buy. Just really cool glasses. I think it's definitely worth trying. But one of the ones that I really liked was they have these Corksicle stemless champagne flutes that are available. They are really pretty. I see this as something that's going to go kind of fast because they're sort of unique. I mean, there's lots of Corksicles out there, and you often see the cups, the different cups. But this stemless champagne flute is worth checking out. So check out that one, and you can get it at the Ready. This is the tongue twister of all booth names. Shimmering Sips. Sounds easy to say.
Watch how you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Be careful.
I know. That's what I needed. Yeehaw Bob to help me out with that.
She bricks and ships. Just saying.
But there's also lots of great merchandise available. I think they did a good job with the merchandise. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Of course, you can do the little Remy scavenger hunt. And they have the cutest little thing for prizes this year. They're little bowls that have different characters from, some are from Epcot, some are from Disney movies. They have one that has Remy on it. They have one that has Figment on it. So check those out. Again, you're looking for this little Remy character at each of the booths. So you go and you figure that out. But we had a great time at Food and Wine this year, even though it was hot. Mm-hmm. Even though it was, starting in summer, we're used to seeing it in the fall. I just really enjoyed it. We had some great food, and we thought that they did a really good job with it too.
Yeah, I will say, even though it is, it started in, mid-July, the thing is, it doesn't detract from your Epcot day at all. It's
right.
Supplemental, so you can go to the booths, you can go to one in a day, you can make it the focus of the day. But, as the weather cools off, and it ain't gonna cool off in Florida for quite a bit, but it's gonna get not so oppressive, is that the festival will get better as we move towards November. So folks that are going later, like I know Len's here in the live chat, he's going in October, prime time for Food and Wine. That's it's going to be better because you're going to have more booths in October, because that whole kind of like in my head I got to kind of set up as like Food and Wine plus,
right?
Yes.
Festival, but also the weather tends to be, just not as, it gets dark earlier. So, you have more, less, full sunshine time. And so, that's the thing about Florida right now. July is just when you're out in the sun, man, it bakes you. So Ricky, anything else? We got about 8 minutes left in the show. So any other highlights?
So I want to talk about the place that Brian said was his favorite place he has eaten at in the Magic Kingdom. You ready for it?
I forgot about this. See, I almost forgot.
See, again. I knew you were going to.
Told me exactly. 4 minutes into the show.
Yes. So originally, we had talked about I was going to go to Tusker House and go to Animal Kingdom, and the more I talked to Brian about it, the more we were like, I don't know. So we canceled our Animal Kingdom day, and we decided to go to the Magic Kingdom instead, because we were going to hop over to the Magic Kingdom later that day anyway. So we're just like, let's just spend the whole day there. So as we were walking in there, Brian was like, I'm kind of hungry. So
can I guess where this is going to be? Because this is killing me.
Yes.
The Plaza.
No, you are incorrect.
I thought I had
incorrect.
You for sure. Okay,
you are wrong, sir.
Dang,
okay.
I had you for sure. Go ahead.
You did think you had me, but it is wrong. So I was like, okay, let me see what's available. So I looked on the app, and sure enough, in an hour was a reservation for Skipper Canteen.
Yep.
And so he's like, okay, let's go there. So we head to the Magic Kingdom. And for those who have not been to Skipper Canteen, which I think a lot of people actually don't think about it. I know that
I never think about Skipper Canteen.
Exactly. Like Brian, and all the times that we've gone, he's never been. I've only been once, and that was with Pam. So it had been a while since I'd been. And so it's like, okay, let's go there. So we go in, and they absolutely 100% play up. It's just like the Jungle Cruise. They play up all the, shtick and everything like that. It's so fantastic. Of course, some servers are better than others. Our server was fantastic with the shtick. So he really, really, really played everything up.
Was it The Rock?
It was not The Rock. No, it was not Dwayne Johnson.
That'd be synergistic, though. That'd be pretty sweet.
It would be super synergistic. Yes. So no, but it was so much fun to have somebody, because obviously I was wearing a Disney dress, so he knew that I was clearly a Disney fan, and so he definitely played it up a little bit more for us, but so we started with the appetizer, which was the cheese bread, which was not on the menu, and it is so good. I really hope they add this to the menu. I know that I posted about it, and a few people have said that they had that as well when they were there, and it's delicious. There's this sauce that you can dip your bread in. Oh my goodness, it was so good. So definitely suggest, if they tell you about the cheese bread, to order it. I got the char siu pork, which was so fantastic. Very, very good. Brian got the tastes like chicken.
So that's my style. Yeah, you can't go wrong with tastes like chicken.
Yeah, exactly. And he absolutely loved that too. I actually tried his chicken, and it was very, very good. So had just a great meal at Skipper Canteen. And Brian has been, like I said, over the moon about Skipper Canteen since we left. I mean, he's literally been listening to the soundtrack from Skipper Canteen since we got back on YouTube. So he had just the most fantastic meal. He's like, we have to go back. So, it won him over, and he has said that it is the best meal that he's had at the Magic Kingdom. So
is there any reference to Skipper Canteen in the Jungle Cruise movie right now? I mean, that'd be something that, it's in there. I mean, they could have written that in the script. It's like they went to eat somewhere at the Skipper Canteen. I mean, I could see that. I haven't seen the movie.
Not that I noticed full out, but I mean, maybe there was a small nod to Skipper Canteen. Now, I have seen the movie, and there are lots of nods to the Jungle Cruise and Albert Falls and, that kind of stuff. But, I didn't see anything specifically for Skipper Canteen. Sorry, Mike.
Missed opportunity.
I know, right?
Lead in the mess. Okay, so about 3-4 minutes left. Pam, any final thoughts? I know, because we're going to talk about this stuff over the next several weeks, obviously, as we go through this, but anything you want to leave us with for listeners that are heading down here soon?
So I will say that I had the chance to see both the Epcot fireworks and Happily Ever After with and without the new 50 added on to the castle.
Yeah.
And there is just something about these shared experiences
so true.
that you have with people. It is not just about seeing the fireworks. It is about seeing the fireworks with all these different people. You end up talking, or at least gesturing, or at least all enjoying it together. And I started thinking about this more and more. It's these shared experiences that we have with other people that I think happen so often when we're traveling that really define our lives. And they are literally those core memories that we all carry with us. It was just emotional. And there's no other way to say that other than it was emotional. You're there with people who are all thinking the same thing that you are, right? This is the first time they've had the opportunity to see the fireworks in a while. How awesome is this? And you are missing out if you don't have the opportunity and don't do this with some of the people that you care about. And whether that's friends, family, or you go there and just care about the other people that you're seeing the fireworks with, it was such an emotional exclamation point on our trip that I'm having a hard time really putting into words how I'm describing it. But go and do it. when you're there. Are the fireworks a pain to wait for sometimes in some nights? Yes, absolutely they are. You're tired, you've been in the parks all day, whatever. Are they worth it? 100 times yes.
Yes.
100 times yes. So do what you have to do to be there for the fireworks, each night. It's just so worth it. And I will feel this way when I get to see the nighttime show at Hollywood Studios too, because I think that that's a really good show as well. It's not just fireworks, it's something about the nighttime shows and just experiencing that with other people. I think it's something that we've all missed so much.
I agree so much because we've all been just dying to have them. We were down there just a few days after they restarted them in early July, and it was because a lot of folks are big Disney fans. Some people are just there because the family planned a trip, and it's like, hey, we're in the right place, right time. But everybody, because you don't have to be like a Disney person waiting for the fireworks to come back. Fireworks are just in general something that's exciting, whether it's in your little town for the 4th of July. Everybody likes a fireworks show, and we haven't had those, so everybody was getting that shared experience. But I will say, and I don't know how the weather was for both of you guys when you saw them, but like when Tinkerbell flew, like Tinkerbell's always kind of the highlight of both Wishes and Happily Ever After. Like everybody's like, oh, even if you've seen it for like 28 times, like you still, when she comes, pops out, like, oh, everybody gets excited. I mean, but the excitement of Tinkerbell flying over the crowd when I was down there was just off the chain. It was nuts. Like people were losing their minds. It was great.
It was more than just a little. It was like people celebrating Tinkerbell. Like it was really just even going back to that moment makes me emotional. And if you don't have something that makes you cry when you look back on a trip, then it wasn't a really good trip, was it? And if you don't have something when you're at Disney, then you miss something. You miss what it's all about because it's just spectacular. Just go and do it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I remember when we watched them, because we watched them there, as a family before Scott got there. Then we watched them with the Gardeners. We watched fireworks almost every night we were there because we loved it. And the first time we watched it, I think it was on July 7th, Mallory looks over me like, and I hear like elbowing, my Pam, my wife. She's like, Dad's crying. I had like a tear running down my cheek. I'm like, dude, because I have a heart, that's why.
Yes.
Awesome. Like, this is why I do what I do. Like this is, if you want the essence of why I do what I get up in the morning and do every day till I go to bed, with the podcast, working and travel, like this is the moment I want every one of my guests to have. And I'm appreciative I get to have it myself right at this moment. It's like I'm there with my daughters and I'm there, with my wife and with my friends and with strangers that I don't know. Like, dude, I know some people aren't criers, but if you don't have I don't know where your heart is, I'm just saying, I can't help it.
I think my husband's dead inside half the time, so he wouldn't be crying either way. So I don't know.
It is. Brian just displays his love for things a little different. So,
little bit, yeah.
But it was really so spectacular, and I would fly down again just to experience that moment over and over and over every day. And like you, Mike, this is absolutely the reason. I know that so many of our travel agents, like this is exactly what they're looking for when they plan a vacation with someone. They want people to be able to go there and experience these things that we experience. And it's what makes life worth living is these moments, these instances.
It's the best moments, man. You got to just savor them. You know what I mean? You just got to let the emotions flow. Because, too much of, 95% of life is just tasks you have to perform. It's just, it's getting from 1 hour to the next, one day to the next. But when you're there, like on the hub grass, and you're flying over your head, man, that is, you don't get moments like that every day.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, hey, that's a good way to end the show. We're leaving everybody right into a happy weekend. Tinkerbell's flying right into your weekend. You nailed it, Pam. No, that's okay. And hopefully, we've got some information out there, some great stuff to check out at Food and Wine, Polynesian. Hey, today I think it was a pretty good show. We wrapped it up well. I like it. And Ricky's texting everybody. There we go. Checking, is everybody liking the show? No, just kidding. Okay. Don't forget, though, these shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Again, Pam mentioned it. The agents over at the Magic for Less, each and every one of them, passionate Disney fans that have solid knowledge on all the resorts, all the restaurants. We pool our information. We put all these heads together. We can be pretty smart. We can make like the super Disney fan, and we'll take great care of you. So drop by the magicforless.com, fill out that quote form with what you're looking for, dates, resorts. We can check the availability, the pricing. And what we do is, we kind of start real wide and we say, here's some options. Then we kind of funnel it down until we get that vacation just right for you or your family or whoever's traveling with you. And then, hey, then it's time to put down the deposit and get excited because you're heading to Walt Disney World. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That really does help us out. And again, thank you to our patrons for allowing us to put out all these podcasts all around the world, multiple times a week. And our patrons get Mike in the Midwest every Thursday, a little bonus podcast. So if you want to see all the information on that, just visit patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give the show a follow on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Mike and at Be Our Guest Pod. Give Pam a follow over at TMFLT Pam. And of course, Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. So give her a follow as well. All right. Don't forget Sunday night, 8:00. Nope, not 8. That's what it used to be a long time ago. Now I'm older. It's 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, actually because of Big Brother. So you can join us live as we take your calls. We talk about all the news of the week at hashtag Scotty G joins me from up in Michigan. We have a good time talking about all the Disney news and then taking your calls. This Sunday night, join us 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to the show and you'll know when we go live. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your weekend. Thanks so much. I don't say this enough, but thanks for hanging out with us this week and for all the times you've hung with us here on the podcast. Hopefully you've had a good run, walking the dog, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, cutting the grass, whatever it is. We're glad to be in your ear here for the last 45 minutes. So thanks for allowing us to be there. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend, but whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yay. Those were good ones. That was a really good one. Now I say it's Polynesian. Now it's not good for my pocketbook.
No, right?
I know. It's worth it though. It really is. Just a couple of days. And I absolutely, looking back on my fireworks memory, I'm crying just recalling the memory.
Oh, like, dude, I can't look at Pam. I can't.
Right? Exactly. I was like, don't look at Pam. Don't look at Pam. Don't look at Pam.
I know. But it is. That's really it. So.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
Yes.
Well, hey,
yay! I'm glad we have the opportunity to have this
live here on Facebook and YouTube. That's awesome. I love having you guys here when we do it live. It makes it so much more fun.
It does.
I agree.
All right, well, hey, now it's time editing and Taco Bell for me. So those are
right.
Oh, Mike, I waited, by the way, I went to Taco Bell this past week. I waited 40 minutes in the drive-through line.
I know that if you go at the wrong time.
And by the time, no, it was like 4:00. And by the time I got my food, I got back, they had given me the wrong food.
You know the secret about getting the wrong food at Taco Bell? It all tastes the same. It just has different names.
Yeah, no, I didn't want this though. That's the problem. Like I wanted what I ordered.
No, it's all the same. Just eat what they give you. That's
I ate what they gave me, but they gave me had nacho cheese in it, and I don't like nacho cheese. I like regular cheese.
Because you know why she doesn't like it? Because it's nacho cheese.
That's right. Exactly. It wasn't cheese. That's exactly.
I wanted like shredded cheese. I didn't want nacho cheese. I was very disappointed after waiting 40 minutes, and I couldn't even get out of the line before I ordered because there was this like huge drop off. Like
people like you kill me. You order what's on the menu. You don't modify because
I didn't modify.
The person behind you got your food. And
no.
Because they didn't want the nacho cheese.
So it was clear that the people that were working there were relatively new because what I ordered was a chalupa, and what they gave me was a crunch wrap, and they just took the C, and that's all they went with. So they clearly, because I got what I ordered, because I ordered a black bean chalupa, and they gave me a black bean crunch wrap. So they did give me what I ordered. They just didn't give me what I ordered.
Yeah, I'll pray for you tonight that you can survive.
That you get your right Taco Bell.
I was so mad. I was like, Mike talks about Taco Bell all the time. I'm going to go to Taco. I waited 40 minutes and I didn't even get what I wanted. Yeah.
Well, no, I probably won't get mine either. They've been really good lately.
Yeah. So I was sad.
All right.
I was very sad.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to
see you guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Okay.